For the purpose of this course, because clearly there could be a million definitions to the word boss and a million definitions to the word leader, right? And I don't want to get into debating that. But for learning and application in this course, I want to go over the boss versus leader. And I have this great photo. I love this picture where there's this boss that's sitting on top of the stone. And I'd like to imagine that person screaming, "Mush! Move faster, you scoundrels!" Essentially making it harder for these folks to do their jobs. Who likes that guy? Nobody, right? So this boss, they're essentially a dictator, and we all know what the first three letters in that word spells, right? They're exploitive, and meaning we feel like they think we're there to work really hard for them so they can get their promotion or their bonus, right? And who likes that? Raise your hand. All hands stay down. And then the worst part about this person, the dictator, meaning they think they need to be the smartest person in the room, right? So whenever there's a crisis or anything needs to be done, they need to be in control. And so they're constantly telling everybody in the team how to solve the problems. The worst part about that, though, is even if this boss has a genius IQ, an IQ over 140, that whole team is only as smart as one person. Everybody say no bueno and give a little thumbs down.
No bueno.
No bueno.
It's no bueno. And for those of you who weren't paying attention the first time I said it, that's Southern Californian for not good. Okay. And ultimately, in the end, this behavior. Now, here's the thing. Right now, I was on a roll and trying to be a little bit funny, and it might have sounded like I was being Mr. Judgy Judgerson, but my name is Jay Scott, and I am a recovering boss. Okay, my name is Jay Scott, and I'm a recovering boss. It's how I was raised. My dad was definitely a boss. I grew up in a gangland neighborhood, and there was El Jefe. It did happen to be a Hispanic neighborhood, right? And then I joined the military, which is all about command and control. So this is how I thought it was supposed to be done. And somewhere along the way, I realized it wasn't the best way, and I started practicing and learning about some of the things that I'm teaching you guys. But one of the biggest things is nobody trusts this boss. Nobody. Right? Nobody's pulling the Hail Mary for this person, right? They're basically doing just enough to get by. And then I joined the military. All in favor, say aye. Practicing and learning about. Okay. But one of the biggest things is here, nobody, right? The leader goes first. Hey, we're not a high performing team. We don't know each other that well. Why should we trust each other? Well, we've got to get there somehow. So who's gonna trust but verify first? We all know it's the manager's responsibility. They have to do it. They have to go first, or nobody's gonna do it. Okay. So then I want you guys to think about a time that. Well, actually, hold on. Before I move on to the leader, I'm gonna ask you guys a question that might cause trauma. Okay. I want you guys to think about a time that you worked for this person, the boss, the dictator. I want you to think about a time you were in this situation, and I want you to blurt out, because it's my favorite part of any day when I can get a group of people to just blurt words out. I want you to blurt out a one-word emotion for how you felt when you were working for this person.
Sad. Discouraged.
Frustrated.
Grumpy.
Beat down.
Disengaged.
I like that beat down.
Angry.
Meaning you like that word beat down, but you don't like the beat down.
I don't like the beat down, but I like that captures it. It resonates with me.
The beat downs will continue until more.
Did the always entertaining Nick Sykes blurt?
I didn't say it. No, I was thinking in my head. I was waiting to see what everybody else said, so I could copy.
What do you got?
For me, it's disengaged. And somebody said that, so I didn't want to duplicate.
We don't have to be unique. It's cool. It's not surprising that was actually, disengaged, right? Like, I don't want to, no, like just talk to the hand. All right. So clearly, if that is how you guys all felt, and by the way, it's thousands of people. I've probably asked this question to thousands of people. That's the answer every single time. And in this course, I asked this question every single cohort. Okay. And that's the answer. And here's the irony. There's somebody in this cohort and in every single cohort that's actually doing this. Now, here's the thing. It's okay. And this is why I bring this up. It's okay. because this is what I was taught, and that's why I was doing it. And I was also scared because I didn't know anything else, that if I let the inmates run the asylum, that would work out badly for me, because I do recognize that there's a correlation. If they're not successful, I'm not successful. Okay. So when I trust them, I'm actually trusting that not only are they going to do the right thing for them, but also the right thing for who? Me. And there's a lot. I mean, I had to create a 14-week course. Trust me, I wanted to do it shorter. I think at this point, some of you have figured out it's a trick. It's actually a 15-week course, but we didn't want to advertise that it's a 15-week course. So we're sticking with the fact that it's a 14-week course, right? Like if I could do it in any less time, right? And how long did it take me to accumulate all these things so where I could put myself in a position to where I could effectively lead and not worry that they weren't going to have my back, right? Starting with this, right? So if you guys, I want you to think about that person that you just now yucked all over. It's not nature. It's not who they are. It's what they were taught. They literally didn't have any other tools. And I get it. At least one of you's thinking, no, not this guy. This guy was a narcissistic sociopath. It is possible that there's the anomaly out there where that is true, but the vast majority of the time, these are just people that want to be successful, just like the rest of us. And you know what? Sometimes it's like the leader isn't necessarily the manager. And so when we're working in an environment like that, just modeling good leadership tools and allowing them to see the ripple effect of how that succeeds, but more importantly, succeeds for them, creates the trust that you might need to even coach up. All right, so moving on to the leader, I want you guys to remember a time where you worked for somebody, but it felt more like you were partners, because that's really the truth of the situation. The leader of the team is on the team. We're all in this together. So it felt like you worked together, right? That person, you felt like that person literally when they were giving you feedback, it's because they cared about you and your success. Do you remember this person? Do you remember this person? Now I want you to blurt out a one where I remember this person. Nick Sykes knows him. His name's Todd Friedman. Now I want you to blurt out a one-word emotion for how you felt about this person.
Empowered. Thankful.
Happy.
Grateful.
Right. So think about that. Again, same answer every single time. Nobody's like, I didn't think about it. Right. It didn't occur to me. And by the way, that person is a standout person in your mind. Is just now the first time you've thought about that person in the last year? Mm-hmm. No? Yes? Got to blurt. No. Right. And so when I think about this, one, that person's playing for you. That person's saying, hey, team, let's get together. Let's brainstorm. Let's figure out this problem. So here we have like solutions are 4x better, right? We're leveraging the team's IQ. We've increased the odds of success for the individual as well as the team. Plus, there's trust here. These people like each other. Do I need to control, or can I trust that if you guys all felt the way you just said you felt about this person, you felt about me, you're going to have my back? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right? So it's this really powerful thing, this, hey, I don't trust, so I need to control. It's the only way that I can be successful, right? Or if I'm a good leader to my team, I play for them, right? I'm there truly, sincerely to help them. I'm curious and not judgmental. I'm helping improve their outcomes. I'm bringing to bear not just me and them to the solution, but the other team members. Like, hey, I know Mustafa doesn't have anything to do with this, but I think he might have some good ideas. Let's call him in and see what he thinks, right? So I'm intentionally bringing the team together to foster better solutions, better. I'm going to get better outcomes. We trust each other. And by the way, we're probably more successful than we are in the other model. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Have you guys ever been on a team that was winning, like just truly thriving? It's rhetorical. I hope the answer is yes. But did you notice that everybody kind of got along? Everybody gets along. When you're on a team that's winning, there's this thing, it's a French thing, it's called esprit de corps. You have this esprit de corps. If you've ever been on, and I'm sorry, if you've ever been on a team that just was struggling, everybody's at odds. There's a high degree of likelihood that if I were to ask you in private, there was somebody on the team that you you disliked. So isn't this dynamic is very interesting, right? Control and dictatorship creates an environment where nobody's working very hard, nobody trusts each other, and the team probably isn't getting great outcomes. Trusting that the team has the answers, playing coach instead of dictator and mentor instead of dictator, bringing people together, sincerely playing for them, being curious and judgment and not judgmental, creates the environment where people want to play together. And when they play together, they get more successful outcomes. And the more successful they are, the more they want to play together, the more they like each other, the more they want to support each other. And I cannot put that in a process or a procedure. Okay. And then here's the beauty, my favorite thing of all. We all know that managers and executives, they have authority, right? They decide who they hire. They decide who they're going to put on a performance improvement plan. They decide who they're going to let go. So they have authority over us. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And so they can choose to be the boss or they can choose to lead. And these are two different things. One is influence through authority. The other is influence or leadership through influence. All right. And the thing about that is I don't need any authority to be an effective leader. Proof is in, and we have proof all around us. I cannot tell you how many times in my career I've heard somebody say, I didn't really have the authority to drive that outcome. Well, then and first of all, authority is never as powerful as influence, but influence is not something you need to be given or gifted. Nobody appointed Martin Luther King the leader of the human rights movement in the United States, and look what he did. Any questions about the boss versus the leader?
How long does it take to become a leader on a newly forming team, in your estimation? Because I do think that, yeah, I'll wait for your answer. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Have you ever watched Ted Lasso?
Yes.
You did? Okay. So here's the thing. Being this coach mentor doesn't mean that you have to be passive, right? I believe in sturdy leadership. And by the way, when I bought into all that servant leadership stuff, some of it good, some of it not so good, some of it baloney, like leadership baloney, like I thought I needed to be soft. I thought I needed to be nice, right? But at the end of the day, what everybody needed from me was to be a leader, was to care personally and say what needs to be said to move us along, right? And so the big distinction is I'm a human, therefore I am judgmental. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So I'd say gaining people's trust is actually not hard at all. It really, people are not going to trust you. Oh, believe me, trust me. I'm the consultant. I walk in the door into an organization. Anybody trusting me on day one?
No.
Nope. Never. They're like, what's this guy going to do? Like I've been screamed at by people that I never talked to before because of what they thought I was there to do, right? So first and foremost, really working to not be judgmental and curious, really believing sincerely that people fundamentally want to be successful and operating that way, and knowing that my job and in everything that I do and everything that I say is to help them succeed. And when they succeed, I'm successful. I feel like I garner trust pretty quickly. And that's the secret. Intention. Because we're going to get into this tonight, right? People literally are human lie detectors, right? We hear more from a human's body language than we do from their voice tone modulation than we do from their words. But I'll get into that. As usual, Anthony, good question. Zoom high five. I love any question that gets me all